Hello and welcome to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's the 1895 Cup final and it's a mouth-watering prospect between two championship clubs with Super League ambitions. It's the current holders, Featherstone Rovers, against Leigh Centurions, who play in their first final in London since winning the Challenge Cup in Wembley in 1971. It's also a match as well which could be a dress rehearsal for the end of season £1 million game. So it's a cracker that's ahead of us this afternoon. I'm Sharon Shortle. With me for this, here on the BBC iPlayer, Red Button and Sport website, is John Keir, and it's too close to call this one, John.
It is very close indeed, but what a fantastic stage this is, Sharon, isn't it? I mean, this stadium is magnificent. The crowd's now building, and you just get a real sense of occasion in this, one of the two biggest games for championship clubs. So obviously, it's all on for the AB Sundecks 1895 Cup, and it's anybody's game. I'm with you totally on that, but it may well, I also agree with you, Sharon, it may well be a dress rehearsal for the grand final and ultimately promotion to Super League.
I'm sure there'll be another couple of clubs in the Championship that might have something to say about that as the season goes on, but these two were certainly the pre-season favourites. So the formalities are being done at the moment. The teams are being introduced to the VIPs. Ralph Rimmer, the Chief Executive of the RFL. With him is Mike Smith, the RFL Vice President, and Laura Beaumont from the sponsors of this competition. Laura Beaumont, wife of John Beaumont, the owner of Leigh Centurions. I think she might have a few familiar faces in front of her at the moment as she goes along the line. With it being, of course, a cup final, we will have the national anthem in a few moments' time as well, ahead of kick-off. And it is, we can't probably stress this enough, a big game at championship level amongst two of the heavyweights at this level as well. Featherstone Rovers, the cup holders, beating York City Knights in the final at Wembley last year. Leigh Centurions in their first London final since they won the Challenge Cup themselves back in 1971. And it's been a calmer build-up to this year's final than what it was last year, when it was only confirmed as actually going ahead just 3 hours before kick-off, with COVID playing its part amongst both the Featherstone Rovers and York City Knights clubs. So the VIPs just leaving the field. The next thing we will hear is Twinny singing the national anthem.
Ahead of kick-off, would you please stand for the national anthem, which will be performed by the Royal Navy Volunteer Band and led by Twinny.
God save our gracious King, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, home to reign over us, our Savior.
Would you please thank the
Twinny with the national anthem, met by applause from the sea of blue and white and the sea of red and white as the fans gradually start to trickle in for this final, the precursor of course to the Challenge Cup final, which you'll be able to see later this afternoon on BBC One. But a big occasion for championship clubs and two big sides as well that we will see this afternoon, John Keir.
Yeah, they're absolutely star-studded, aren't they? Featherstone have recruited in season with people like Mark Carrella and Jonathan Ford, who were so instrumental in Toulouse's rising to the Super League. And obviously over on the Leigh side, we've got Blake Ferguson, who's playing his second game, his debut, 4 tries. It's his second game, so some game to play in for this. And he's an Australian international of recent years. Absolute quality throughout both teams.
So both sides have acknowledged the 13 seconds as part of the RFL Tackle It campaign, keeping their positions on the red carpet for this, and now they take their places for the teams. And this is how they line up this afternoon. A very settled looking side for Featherstone Rovers. Matty Wildy is at hooker 2 weeks after suffering a rib injury. Morgan Smith and Riley Jacks continue their partnership in the halves, meaning new signing Jonathan Ford is named on the bench for his second match in Featherstone colours. So on to the Leigh Centurions side this afternoon. They have 2 changes to the team which beat Sheffield in the semi. Blake Ferguson comes onto the wing after scoring 4 tries on his debut for the club last week. Mark Ioane is on the bench as he returns from a knee injury. Ben Reynolds in the halves is one of Leigh's top 10 all-time point scorers. So the sides are lined up, and it'll be Featherstone to kick off to get the 1895 Cup Final 2022 underway. It's Featherstone Rovers against Leigh Centurions. 2 of the championship heavyweights will battle it out for the first piece of silverware this season. And there's a signal, and we're underway for this final, and the kickoff goes towards Leigh Centurions in the familiar colours of red and white, and driving it through captain Adam Sidlow. Star-studded side, both sides, John. This will be a real heavyweight tussle.
It really will, and you see there Blake Ferguson straight away getting involved. He is a big human being, and he will help the forwards out, and that's certainly what he's done. But 3 carries, and already the Centurions have cleared their own 30 metres. They'll be really happy with this start.
So both teams with big sets of forwards. John Asiata, the man in possession for the Centurions. And good yards made very early in this game by Leigh. That's Aaron Smith at acting half. Pass going out towards his right, and this is the last. Let's see what Leigh have in their kicking armour this afternoon with Ben Reynolds. Accomplished kicker, both tactically and also for goal as well. Taken beautifully there by Luke Briscoe on the wing. And a penalty, first one of the game.
Yeah, tackled him in the air, and just a little too keen there, McDonald and Inu. They needed him to allow him to hit the floor before making the tackle, but the referee was ruling that Briscoe was still in the air when Nenny McDonald made contact, and rightly so. So a little piggyback there up the field for Featherstone Rovers.
It'll be like a game of chess, this, won't it, to start, as both teams just suss each other out?
Very much so, yes. The modern parlance is the arm wrestle, where you look after the ball yourself, the opposition do, and you just try and buy territory.
So James Lockwood, the Featherstone captain, I think probably had a calmer build-up to what he had last year when he arrived in London and then had to dash back up to Yorkshire with a false alarm of his wife going into labour. He had something like a 17-hour day of travelling, going backwards and forwards back up to West Yorkshire before finally making it in time for kick-off. So I'm sure it'll have been much calmer for him this year than what it was last. But Featherstone now coming into the Leigh half of the field quite nicely. Morgan Smith to Jesse Senni-Lefeo, the former Castleford player. Great defence coming in there from Leigh. Yeah,
that's some tackle from Joe Wardle. Senni-Lefeo came on the little drop-off ball, and Wardle had read it, and he really let Senni-Lefeo know there. And some good kick pressure there from Leigh, and Ferguson's come up with the error.
Has indeed. I think the kick before that as well, Riley Jacks will have known he was in a game as well. Big hits going in quite early on. An advantage Featherstone.
Yes, at the minute they've had a penalty to start with, then an error, and that's allowed them to start this set 30 metres out. So interestingly as well, there's the hit on Senni-Lefeo, and what a hit it was. And Sidlow then lending his considerable weight, and there's the pressure, and it was good pressure and legal pressure because he just got the kick away before contact. But we've come a bit of a penalty for dissent here. So the discipline of the Centurions at question to start with. Just little details, for example, catching the player in the air, a descent penalty is just not good enough in a game of such magnitude.
So Featherstone going for the 2 points just to try and settle things, get the scoreboard ticking early on. And it's a big occasion for both clubs. Featherstone were here last year. 5 of this team that they've named this afternoon played in the 1895 Cup Final at Wembley last year and won. It'll be valuable experience, that, John.
It will, but I also think it indicates, Shannon, the turnover in players in their quest for Super League, because obviously they're just trying to add quality upon quality. And it's a fair turnover, that, isn't it, in 1 year?
It is, as the kick comes in from Craig Hall, an accomplished kicker is Hall, and he's successful, giving Featherstone an early advantage. That just might settle things a little bit for Brian McDermott's side, but they've got that 2-point lead.
Yeah, Junior Moores and Adam Sidlow there having a debate, shall we say, but obviously it's just silly from Sidlow because it's 2 points on the scoreboard, and in a game as tight as this, where none of the pundits and so-called experts have been able to call it, that may well be costly. But Leigh need to kick this ball off and have a good defensive set without any penalties.
So let's see what it brings. Kristen Inu will get things started for Leigh Centurions with the restart. And Featherstone just with that chance, just to catch their breath a little now after that two-pointer. And I would imagine they'll be looking for no errors as well, as this ball goes back and deep inside Featherstone Rovers territory. Taken nicely. And the first drive of the set. Good yards made by Rovers. Great defence as well coming in from Leigh there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, stopped Craig Kotchak in his tracks there. And good line speed there. 2 plays and 10 metres. So Leigh will be happy at this point, but it needs to be clean and disciplined.
So Featherstone driving up the middle again with Lockwood. In with the tackle as well is Tom Amon for Leigh. There's Senna Lefeo again for Rovers. Trying to drive forward. You can see the impact there, his head going back as he was hit by the 3 Leigh defenders.
Yeah, and significantly well, Shannon. They're just outside the 20 metres, and this is now last play from 30 metres out.
So Wildy adapting half, a little bit of a dummy, eventually gets that ball back and away to Coralla, who kicks downfield. Has that gone out on the full? Just found touch. A great kick there from Coralla.
Yeah, very good kick indeed, buying some territory, and you would say there's plenty of intent in Leigh's play, but you would say Featherstone have shown the greater composure. So they'll be happy at how they've started.
Both these sides have made additions to their squad in recent weeks, Matt Coralla being one of them for Featherstone Rovers. Jonathan Ford on the bench for Featherstone, just making his debut last week, and of course Blake Ferguson for Leigh.
And just outside the 40 there. There were some Featherstone players questioning whether that was a 40-20, but it's short and his foot was just outside when he struck the ball, Coralla.
So driving forward now, first touch of the ball for Nenny McDonald for Leigh Centurions. Smith adapting half. He's got support on his right-hand side again. Amon driving through, high tackle, says the referee. And maybe just 1 or 2, well, he mentioned about discipline, John.
Yeah.
Just both sides, it's just creeping in for both sides here.
They really are, but that's some great footwork there. And I think that's a little harsh on Lockwood, to tell you the truth. I think that was more around the shoulders than a headshot. So I hope that Liam Moore isn't going to put his whistle away at some stage this afternoon, because we want the players to decide this game.
So Leigh go forward again. What can they do with it? A good position to start this set from that penalty. Here's Smith. Reynolds looks for an option, tries to take it himself. That gap closes up from the Featherstone defenders. Mellor for Leigh. Out wide, keeping it moving. Akins tries to go himself. Well read by the Featherstone Rovers defence. McDonald now. Back along the line to Mellor. Mellor's got support. It keeps it moving. And it's away to Reynolds once more. Back on the inside. Oh, half a break there for Sam Stone. Just caught around the ankles. So Smith again gets things going once more. Back inside, keeping it moving. Leigh go close, but they're going to be held short right in front of the Featherstone fans. You can hear the roar that comes with it. This is the last for Leigh Centurions. It goes back. Kick comes over the top from Reynolds. Underneath it is Briscoe. Out jumps though, and Leigh are in. Leigh get the first points of the 1895 Cup final with Kristen Inu, and the referee points to the spot.
Yeah, a tremendous piece of skill there from Inu. And in all honesty, Shan, I thought that was a great set, because they asked questions on the left edge. They then went back to the middle of the field and asked questions that almost made a bust. But then last play was absolute quality. Just look at the kick here from Reynolds. They're onside, and it's just in the field of play, and Inu absolutely nails the timing there. He times his catch perfectly. Just watch how he comes from the blind side of Briscoe, jumps above him, reels it in, and then what skill and ball control to plonk it over the whitewash. That is a quality try. The Challenge Cup final would welcome that try, believe you me. Outstanding.
Quality player as well, Kristen Inu. Plenty of experience in the NRL as well as, of course, in Super League, but apparently he's never won a major final. Was on the losing side for Salford in the Challenge Cup final a couple of years back, and again, grand finals in the NRL, not had any success there. So if he can lift that silverware this afternoon with Leigh Centurions, it would be the first time he's managed to do that in a final. So it's Inu to try to convert his own try. He's not made life easy for himself, but he's not got a bad record this year either. He's comes in at over 90% his kicking successes. So let's see what he can do with it. You can hear the jeers from the Featherstone fans as well as he prepares. And that looks good.
What a
Great kick, great kick.
Well, you spoke about 90%, Sharon, and you can see why, can't you? That was such an accomplished strike, but I just love this as a last tackle play. Reynolds with this pinpoint kick, and Inu's skill and ball control there under immense pressure really does deserve a 4-pointer and the consequent 6 points from the conversion. And Chris Chester there and head coach Adrian Lamb demonstrating a little bit of joy there as Inu crosses.
I love to see a bit of emotion from a coach. Love to see it. So Leigh then with possession once more from the restart. Leigh then with the upper hand despite Featherstone getting that early settler.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, Sharon? Both Featherstone's points came from a penalty and Leigh's field position for the points came from a penalty. So, as we already discussed, discipline absolutely vital.
So Moan doing well there, an extra few yards. The referee just shoving him back to the spot where the tackle was complete. And Leigh try and drive the way forward. With Asiata, plays the ball to Smith. Supports from Wardle. I think Wardle have known about that challenge. This is the last of the set for Leigh. And again, it's Smith to Reynolds. Reynolds with the kick up high and long downfield. Taken nicely by Rovers.
He did well there, Carella, didn't he? Superb. And McDonald was chasing. He just pouched the ball, bet McDonald, and at Briscoe now they've got them going forward in the early tackles.
Safe hands, isn't he, to have at full-back though, Carella?
He's outstanding, an absolute outstanding player, and referee's called held, I believe, there, so have to be a play the ball.
And done so cleanly, and Rovers still with that possession, then driving through, testing that Leigh defence, but still in their own half of the field. Smith has a runner coming through from Leilua. And again, it's Wildy. Wildy, maybe a little bit of a surprise, is in this side this afternoon. Damaged his ribs against Dewsbury just 2 weeks ago. Missed last week, but named today at hook. And O'Connor-Jones of Featherstone Rovers, he's suspended as a kick comes high from Smith. Underneath it nicely is Akins. And Akins assesses his options. A bit of a slip there going into that tackle, but very safe play.
Yeah, very safe. And, you know, Featherstone will be happy with that as well, because they cleared their own end. And no, he's lost the ball backward as Liam Moore rules. So Akins once again carting it forward.
I don't think the Featherstone Rovers fans liked that decision, but judging by the noise that came from the Featherstone Rovers end of the pitch here. Oh, and that is a drop ball. No mistake there. A straightforward knock on. Play on, says the referee, as Briscoe takes it for Rovers. Dances round one defender. Can't quite swat off Inu, and Briscoe comes to ground, but this is setting Featherstone up nicely. Yeah,
off the back of an error. Leilua was very good there, releasing Briscoe, you know, on a counter-attack, but now Featherstone just setting a point up so they can get their shapes and execute them.
Good yards from Lockwood. Wildy waits for the play of the ball. He's got Kopchak to Jacks, keeps it moving along the line. Great dummy there, Craig Hall will go in, and that's Featherstone's first points of the afternoon as far as tries go.
And Matt Carella, wasn't it, with the money ball there to Craig Hall. Craig Hall just scores points for fun, no matter what level of competition he's played in. Already having kicked a penalty, pouches a try there, courtesy of Mark Carella, but as we indicated, Sharon, they set the point up for the shape, but it all comes from the error. That error gave the flat cappers, the blue and white of Featherstone, the field position. And look at this pass from Carella. It's just a little dummy there. The centre took it, opened the gap up for him. He got behind the defensive line. Then really clever and well executed pass to Craig Hall for a simple put down. Absolute quality rugby league.
I think, judging by some of the noise I can hear coming from the Leigh end of the field, I wonder if they're wondering if that pass was forward.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that is the grumble and the grouse. But once the referee points the finger, it's on the scoreboard and it's in the newspaper.
Very rare. I've said so many times that a referee will change his mind, and certainly from nothing like that. Like you say, read the papers in the morning. It's a try from Craig Hall. Craig Hall, one of the 5 that did play in last year's final. He scored a try against the Knights last year as well. York City Knights are opponents. 6 goals as well. Tries to add to it this year. Beautiful.
Great kick. He is a big game player, is Craig Hall. There's no doubt about that. Whenever Featherstone playing big games, or whichever team he's played for, and he's been there, he's always nailed a performance, and that's exquisite. I don't think that's forward, I think that's A-OK from Carella.
It almost bent. If you can pass a rugby ball and get it to bend, that's just what that looked like from that angle.
It was beautiful. And again, some great emotion there. It's Adam Cuthbertson, it was the assistant coach to Brian McDermott, enjoying that.
So the kickoff comes again from Leigh Centurions, taken nicely. Oh, what a tackle coming in there! What a chase! Ed Chamberlain, the man from Leigh, that went straight in there.
Well,
incredible.
That's a statement of intent. Riley Jacks, you've got the ball. Now you're going to have me. And
wow,
great tackle there from Chamberlain.
Incredible! What a start to this set for Leigh. Oh, what a mistake from Matty Wilde.
Nothing at all, Sharon, wrong with the offload. Nothing at all, because it was well executed. I just think it's an element of lack of concentration from Matty Wilde. Julian Moores pops it up straight into his chest, and all he's done is switched off for that half second. It's a knock on, and it's a great field position for Leigh.
There was almost a glance up at what was coming at him that he just took his eye off the ball as that went. Adam Cuthbertson again doesn't look too chuffed. Cuthbertson, of course, part of the final last year, but playing for York City Knights against Featherstone Rovers.
Well, I'm afraid he can't moan and groan about offloads, because he was the king of them, wasn't he? So, but again, we've got a penalty here with Featherstone broken too quickly from the scrum. Oh, it's reconvening the scrum.
So a bit of a chance of the sides to come back together to pack down, catch the breath, really. It's been quite an intense start, I think, is the best way to say it.
Well, Leigh may well have chosen to scrum down again, you know, because you can have the penalty, which is a differential penalty, or you can choose to scrum down. Obviously, look at the shape of Leigh. They've chosen to have the scrum to get a 4-on-3. And
it's Mellor to Akins. Akins is brought down. Good tackle coming in from the Featherstone defence. Ferguson at acting half. Back to Stone. Again, good defence coming in from Featherstone Rovers. Here's Mellor along the line. Asiata got support from Reynolds. Reynolds to Wardle. Hits that line. The butcher stripe at that end of the ground where Featherstone are defending. Akins again. And Moan. He looks to try and get that ball away. You could see him looking for the support there, but obviously the defence does its job. The pass can't get out. Here's Smith. 6 again, says the referee. Wardle.
Well,
great defence.
Yeah, pressure is on, though, if they've got a full set of 6, which they have.
Asiata moving it along the line to Mellor. Little ball there, just goes through to Amon. Amon will be brought down quite nicely, though. Held 10 metres out there. Leigh still with work to do. Going from acting half. There's the drive that's forward. Little offload as well. Picked up nicely. I think the ball's come loose.
Yeah, of course they had
Smith just couldn't quite take that pass in.
Well, I thought Sidlow there, his offload was very much a high risk and low percentage offload, and Smith, who tried to clean up, has come up with an injury. But I just feel there they looked a little disorganised when Sidlow went to dummy half, and that's such a risky offload, and great desperation there from the Featherstone Rovers defence. Carella it was, who played at the arm of Aaron Smith, forced the error, so it will be Featherstone's head and feed, but Smith really suffering on the back of that.
Starting to move though now is Aaron Smith, which is good news for Leigh. Smith on a season-long loan at Leigh Centurions from St Helens. He's had time out elsewhere as well on dual registration with other championship clubs, but certainly for the full season at Leigh. We can see there the head coach Adrian Lamb. He'll be looking concerned. Of course, if Smith has to come off, they've got a great replacement on the bench of Edwin Ipape, the Papua New Guinean, and he's been in great form, John.
He certainly has. He adds something to this team, he really does. I think it will be just a matter when Adrian Land feels it's right to introduce him. But there's a head knock here from Aaron Smith, so they'll be going for a head injury assessment. But as you see, Sidlow's a prop forward, he's picked up, and that offload is such a high risk, and with desperation such as Carella's, it's not going to work. And then obviously there's the contact, the collision after the pick-up there from Smith, and that's the reason for the head injury assessment.
Almost bending his body as he went down under there as well. Fell quite awkwardly. I wondered at first if it was his shoulder, the way he'd gone and twisted a little, but hopefully we'll see more of Aaron Smith a bit later. So let's see what this scrum then brings for Featherstone Rovers. Just down on the touch line, we see Brian McDermott, the Featherstone coach, starting to just have a little bit of a prowl around in his area down there. So here come Featherstone coming forward with Leilua. Another one with NRL experience in this Featherstone Rovers side. On this pitch, in fact, both sides have NRL and Super League experience right through their teams. There's Wildy to Hall, the try scorer.
This is a good game, you know, Sharon. It's a good game. Two very, very evenly matched teams.
Neither giving an inch either,
Correct.
really, are they? So it's Wildy at acting half then for Rovers. The ball to the middle of the field to Lockwood. This is the last of the set for Featherstone. And it's Wildy going out to the right to Jacks. High kick from the half-back, taken awkwardly, I would have said, under there for Leigh, but either way, Aiken's now in possession. That didn't look clean from Ferguson.
No, it didn't, but he got himself in the wrong position, but he's such a skillful guy, he managed to adjust, and now he's getting involved early on with a carry. And as we've remarked before, he's a big man to be playing on the wing.
Only made his debut last week, did Blake Ferguson, having come over from Australia. As Inu now goes driving through for Leigh. But Featherstone's defence at the moment are up to it. They're really absorbing quite a lot of what Leigh are trying to throw at them. As Ipape took it quickly, catching Featherstone offside.
And it was the captain, Lockwood, as well. Stood right beside the referee, and he stole a march. I mean, that's just not smart. Just watch him. He steals a march here. He's drifting, he's gone, and he cannot go until the foot's on the ball, as the laws of the game state. So a very cheap penalty there from Lockwood, and it's given Leigh a great opportunity.
And it's Simone with that possession for Leigh. A good position now for the Centurions. We'll see what Ipape can offer for Leigh Centurions as well. He goes to Reynolds, but to knock on, says the referee. Reynolds takes that kick forward, and Featherstone, look at the reaction from the players.
Yeah, they're getting under the skin of the Leigh Centurions, aren't they? Jesse Senilefea, the king of enthusiasm, went in, and he certainly let Amon know that he'd made an error there, although it looks a little harsh on re-look, but he's given the decision, and I'm sure that the guys in blue and white won't be arguing.
I'm not sure I actually saw it at all, to be fair, but anyway, they're a lot nearer than what we are, as the phrase goes. So Featherstone then with that ball.
That don't mean to say they're right, Sharon.
No, it doesn't. I like your thinking. As again, a penalty is awarded to Rovers. Again, discipline just maybe starting to becoming a little bit of a question again for Leigh. It looked like things had settled down after a little bit of a, not torrid opening, but certainly just taking time to settle. Just one or two bits and pieces just starting to creep in again there, and it was Ipape there that was caught by the ref.
I think that was a bit of retribution from the earlier discussion or skirmish, as we say. But that's a great kick, that.
Yeah, finds touch nicely, that one. Takes play deep inside the Leigh half of the field. Let's see if Featherstone can hit back. Still with the advantage along the line. Keeping it moving to Corella, getting him involved from the full-back position. Morgan Smith trying to organise things, and again a penalty straight away. Featherstone appealing for that there at the play of the ball. Joe Wardle just not quite getting out of the way in time.
Well, that's another one for me. What's he expected to do? Disappear? You know, he's not a magician. And if he's attempting to regain his feet, okay, it's just tangled up.
Or is his leg there interfering? Could he have moved his right leg away from Corrala, because it looked like he was bringing it in, almost interfering with that boot. But clearly, look at his face, he doesn't think he was.
No.
But he wouldn't, would he, to be fair?
But Craig Hall is going to look to take full advantage. It's an interesting sort of tactic, isn't it, that they've obviously decided that whenever 2 points are on offer, they've got a kicker of this quality, they're going to take those 2 points, and it'll just keep that scoreboard ticking over, and it just gets under the opposition's skin and increases self-doubt.
Hall with his third conversion attempt of the afternoon. Success for him so far with everything so far. Let's see if he can manage that once more. The angle, a little tight, but sure, nothing that he's not seen before. Yeah, an extra 2 added for him. Featherstone Rovers just extending that lead. And this is turning into a very, very interesting competition. We're just over halfway through the first half. Not a lot in it, 1 try apiece, and it's just been the penalty kick so far separating them.
It is, and the penalty count obviously is favouring Featherstone Rovers at this moment in time. So that's certainly one message either Adrian Lamb will be trying to send on during the game, or he'll certainly address that at half-time. They're just giving away too much field position and too many opportunities at goal. Short kick-off.
Yeah, which has come off as well. Leigh pop up with possession once again. Well worked by the Centurions. Just catching Featherstone a little cold there. Jack Bussey in there with the tackle for Rovers.
But it's a great tactic when you've got Blake Ferguson, who's a tall man, and he went up there, challenged and controlled the palm back to his teammates.
Sidlow brought down. Ipape then for Centurions. Oh, a little bit of a stumble from him. Nothing untoward. It's Mellor. Mellor back to Asiata. Finds Reynolds. Reynolds to Wardle. Drives at that defence. Makes a few yards forward before the tackle comes in.
I'll tell you what they are doing, Sharon. They're testing Matty Wilde's ribs. That is for certain.
Which, yeah, you don't not surprised there at all. Mellor along the line. There's Akins. Great tackle coming in from the Featherstone Rovers defence. Just manages to keep himself in play. Here's Ferguson. Thought he might take it himself. Long ball goes to Mellor. Well read as well by Featherstone. But Leigh tried to keep that ball alive.
Well,
put the referee on the spot.
We've spoken about it, but that is a forced error. Absolutely first class. It's that man, he's having a great game, and he really did put the pressure on the kicker. See, it's the last play, the kicker's coming, and he's really flown out of the defensive line, and that pressure forced the error.
Yeah, the ball coming forward out of Mellor's arms in the end. From here, it was quite hard to tell whether it was forward or not, but clearly the referee on the spot. And it's Leigh having to defend now as Featherstone come forward. It feels to me like Leigh have had the better of the territory and the possession, yet it's Featherstone ahead, because it's that old thing, isn't it? Don't come away from your opponent's line without something.
Correct. And I also feel that Featherstone are growing into the game more and more, Shannon. They're really becoming at ease with the environment and with the opposition.
Lockwood to Jacks. Along the line to Corrala. Here's a gap out wide for Featherstone, for Hall. The defence shuffles across well though and closes that space down. Hall is tackled. Back inside to Jacks. Puts the kick up, tries to get it across the top of the defence. All the time in the world though for Akins. No real challenge possible from the Featherstone chasers coming through. A bit disappointing that from Featherstone, I think, there.
Yeah, but and Akins is really good, returning the ball. Consistently makes 100 metres plus, and obviously it's those little 10-15 metre carries that accumulate over the course of the game.
Well, it might have been disappointing at the end of the set, but that tackle certainly wasn't from Rovers. Driving Leigh back as Ipape goes forward now for the Centurions. Plays the ball to McDonald. He's got support from Mamone. Here's Ipape.
Yeah, they've kept the ball really tight, haven't they, this set, and they're just trying to generate some ruck speed.
This is the last for Leigh. The kick from Reynolds. Underneath it again is Briscoe. He's got Inu charging down on him again. But no mistake that time from Briscoe. His ball, he puts the name on it. Featherstone back with possession.
Yeah, that was well timed, wasn't it, from Christian Inu. And Leigh now trying to generate some line speed.
It's Smith at acting half back on the inside. Oh, a big hit coming in again there from Leigh Centurions. This is really, well, it's top of the championship stuff, isn't it? This is a great advert for Championship Rugby League.
And what an offload that is there.
And Wildy picks it up and he keeps it moving as well with support coming through. Leigh read it. The tackle will come in. But Featherstone now trying to set things up for themselves inside the Leigh 40. Wildy back to Jax. Jax to Coralla. Coralla gets around one line of defence. Can't quite manage it a second time. What can they manage on the last? Goes out towards the right. Here's Jax. Chip up. Looking for it is Hall. And Hall takes it. But I think Hall be hustled into touch. You could certainly see what could have been on there.
Yes, you could. I was surprised that Ferguson allowed him to have that free catch. I expected as soon as Craig Hall received the ball, Ferguson would be at him and put him over the sideline. Because he virtually just allows him to catch. You think there, it'd be after the sideline.
And he just dropped it.
He did, yes.
Just dropped it.
Stone cold drop.
I wonder if Ferguson thought he was so close to the line, he fancied his chances of letting Hall catch it and then just charging in and taking him into touch. But either way, the error came instead. So it's Leigh. Again with Sidlow. The work coming in from Rovers in defence. Ipape. Mellor was, I think, probably the jeers of perhaps thinking it was a high tackle, but I don't think there was anything there to really get concerned about.
This man's electric though, Ipape, he's electric.
And he's got round the two lines of defence before he got the ball away. Struggles again to get back into position again, takes it himself, does Ipape, the hooker. The chip to the corner, what's he seen? He looked for Ferguson, Hall was the man to take it, but look at the defence.
That's great defence, great defence. Now that's the impact Ipape can have on the team. He got them going forward, then put the chip kick in, but his teammates then helped him out. And just look at him here. He's absolutely electric out of dummy half. As soon as there's one marker or whatever, he'll go. Great offload. Then he came up with a kick, but look at this defence. Ferguson's held him up, and the rest of the Leigh players take him over the sideline. Great defence.
And a great position for Leigh to try and hit back. Of course, if they get a try here, the game will be level again. And there really isn't much between these two sides. On off the bench, Ben Nakabue, first touch of the ball, driving forward. Ipape, keeping it moving. Asiata finds Reynolds. Reynolds goes himself. Ben Reynolds is in, and Leigh hit back. The referee, though, just speaking to his touch judge. Now it's given.
Yeah, it shows to run the ball at exactly the right time, did Ben Reynolds. Absolutely quality pivot play, because pivots are renowned as the kickers and the passers and the creators. But this time Ben Reynolds taking it upon himself to actually take the line on, and he's been successful in doing that. Once again, it's good shape there, players going through. It's the back man, it's a little show, a little go, and he just got on the outside of Matty Wildy. So there's the show there, the rest of the line drifted out, Jesse Senna-Lefaya. Wildy was trying to cover from the inside, but could not get across quick enough for Reynolds to crash over, sort of 15 metres or so in from the sideline. Great piece of play there from the stand-off half.
And appreciated by his coach, Adrian Lamb, as well. Ben Reynolds, Pontefract born, is local to Featherstone. He's had a loan spell at Featherstone as well, came through at Castleford. But he's not doing it today for the Yorkshire side in the slightest.
But that's a reward, Shannon, for some great defence. That last play, and then taking the winger over the sideline, that earned them the possession in such a vital position, and they took full advantage of it.
So it's Inu now to try and add the extras to that try from Ben Reynolds. Just to say there won't be any extra time or golden point or anything at the end of this game. If it is all square, it will be a shared trophy, which I know is unusual, but that is how it will work for the final of the 1895 Cup. And listen, that's really got the Leigh fans going.
That was a quality try, wasn't it? And is it followed with a quality conversion?
It is. It is. 2 from 2 for Inu. And for the first time, Leigh take the lead.
And it's great half-back play here. I just love the deception in Reynolds there. It's the show, and then he accelerated, so there was a change in tempo of how he was carrying the ball. So it was a little dummy, step off the left foot, and then accelerate through the gap. A real quality try there, fully appreciated by the Centurions fans.
Should say Leigh retake the lead. They were in the lead earlier after that try from Chris Ninu, but Leigh with the possession once again from that kickoff. There's Ipape. Oh, a knock on. Well, this could be interesting now. Featherstone with the position close to the Leigh try line with the 6 to go.
Well, both teams are being pretty clinical, aren't they, when they get opportunities in the opposition sort of quarter. So it would be a very, very important defensive set from Leigh, having just as you said, Sharon, retaking the lead. But it's a stone cold error, and it's one that you shouldn't be making at this level.
So Morgan Smith with the ball in hand, ready to get play started again from the base of the scrum. And it's out and away from Wildy. Oh, an error! What an error coming in. I think it's Brett Ferris, I think, that dropped it. But either way, here's space for Ferguson out on the far side. Featherstone really having to scramble back. What an opportunity potentially there for Rovers, just blown.
Yeah, I think it was a set play with Ferris standing out of the scrum, but it certainly did not work. And there's been a late shot there on one of the Leigh players. Brett Ferris, I think, taking a bit of retribution for his error there. You could see Corellis coming round the back, and I'm sure that was the play that Ferris was going to put on, but you've got to secure the ball. He didn't. And then in a fit of pique, he's given a penalty away. Yeah, that late shot from Ferris being very costly there, and spotted by the touch judge on the far side.
And the kick for touch is taken from Reynolds, putting Leigh back in control of the territory. Let's see what they can make of this time. Along the line, Aaron Smith back on the field, passing his head injury assessment. He's back in the side. Asiata, an acting half. O'Donnell drives forward. The blue and white lines, stripes on the shirts coming to meet them. Here's Smith again. Little ball to Nakabuai.
He's a big man.
He is, isn't he?
He is,
very
really
big.
is.
Very big. Here's Smith again. Asiata. Oh, not great ball. Allowed to bounce by Mellor, picked up by Stone. And Leigh still putting that pressure on that Featherstone line. Here's Mellor again. Oh, Asiata with a bit of a juggle. Manages to take it. Almost half a gap opening up here as well for Leigh. Stone brought down by the Featherstone defence.
Last tackle play.
Asiata with the kick over the top. Are the men there? McDonald's there for Leigh. Tapped by Featherstone, taken by Featherstone. Leilua the man to bob up with that ball.
He did a good job there, because it's a fair old aerial battle when you've got Nene McDonald, who's very tall, and you've got Christian, who's very tall, and that's obviously what they're aiming for. And although it was the middle unit player who kicked it, he's played a half-back over in the NRL, so he's not averse to a good kicking game or a good passing game.
It's been end-to-end stuff almost. We've not really had a chance to talk about some of the players that are in these sides this afternoon with that NRL experience. You look down and you think, oh, Joey Leilua in the centres, then you look and see what Leigh Centurions have got with Nene McDonald. It's like for like.
It certainly is. And that's the quality within the teams, and they're demonstrating that on the field of play, Sharon.
So here comes Inu with the pink boots and the blue boots. I heard the story, apparently his wife was expecting twins and he didn't know whether it was going to be boys or girls, so he bought a blue pair and a pink pair, and it was one of each in the end, as a high tackle is given.
The penalties are racking up the other way now.
And this will really ease a little bit of pressure that was just starting to build, I think, there on the Leigh line. And the kick for touch is taken by Reynolds. And it hasn't found touch.
No, that's criminal.
Hasn't found touch at all. And Featherstone with Hall get the advantage.
This 5 minutes left, just over 5 minutes, Sharon, to half-time. You're bound to be a little fatigued, and you need the ball if possible, and obviously that is just a cardinal error indeed, making the big forwards have to work hard, cover the offloads, so they really are under pressure at the minute of Leigh.
Bit of a high shot, I thought, going in there. Riley Jacks, nothing given from the referee as Featherstone drive their way forward. Not long left in this half. round about 5 minutes. Can Featherstone Rovers hit back before that half-time hooter? Offside, says the referee. More yards for Featherstone, or will they go for the 2?
Well, I'd go for the 2. So near to the half-time. Level the scores up. And that's exactly what they're doing.
And so
there's the offside, yeah, once again.
If you're going to do it, you don't do it when you're standing next to the referee,
No,
do you? Try and
no.
sneak it on the outside.
Which is what Lockwood did earlier and what Nakabayev's done.
So it's Craig Hall then, again, to try and add a further 2 points. It's been 3 from 3 for him this afternoon. He kicked 6 last year in the final. He's certainly notching them up as well this year. And Craig Hall, another player who has, basically playing against the opposition this afternoon, a club that he used to play for. He's former league player himself, is Craig Hall.
Stay still, boys, stay still.
And the conversion is successful. We're all square again.
Well, a crucial last 3 minutes or so, and I'm sure that guy there, Ryan McDermott, the head coach of Featherstone, he'll be happy to go in at 12 apiece. And I think Adrian Lamb would be. But you don't want to give the opposition in this crucial period, you don't want to give them anything that will just put the nose in front. And obviously it will change the half-time team talk.
So Leigh, a long high kick-off this time, not going for the short kick-off like we saw a little earlier. And Featherstone come charging forward. Good defence there from Leigh, just turning Rovers onto their backs, making a little bit slower at the play of the ball. Good yards again coming forward from Featherstone, edging the way gradually upfield. Bussey. Good carry from the man who was in the second row this afternoon.
They've done well, haven't they, Featherstone, this set? Real good set.
Wildy, half a gap there, but he had the man hanging around his waist, just stopping him getting any further, and the referee wipes it clean. Yeah. So this will be interesting for Featherstone. Coralla just brought down. Here's Wildy. Wildy to Smith. Smith, he's got that support from Jesse Senna-Lafayette.
Well, this will test the resilience, won't it, of this Leigh side? It really will.
Brett Ferris takes that ball in. The red and white wall this time is the defensive line trying to stand firm on the whitewash. Here's Wildy, goes short to Smith. Smith takes a step. Oh, back to Wildy. Did Wildy take that cleanly? The referee blows his whistle.
I think he
didn't.
He gave himself up there. There was a hesitation, wasn't there, when he just knocked the ball, and I don't know whether Liam Moore had seen that initially. But again, that's just a bit of anxiety from Morgan. It was a chancy offload that had been better as well, seeing the set out.
And Wildy was just slightly overrun where that ball was going to anyway. He was on the back foot to try and catch that.
It was a very difficult task he was presented with.
10 seconds, boys.
You can't help but feel a couple of times that Featherstone have been their own worst enemies in these situations. Just like we've mentioned before, we've talked a lot about it this afternoon already, but the discipline and maybe just squeezing a pass out that they don't really need to do.
Yeah.
So Leigh then coming away from their own lines. McDonald brought to ground. Mellor towards the right-hand side, a bit of space.
Yeah, they worked the short side really well there. Very clever from Joe Mellor.
Back up the centre of the field now, though, for Leigh with Stone. Stone, son of Rick Stone, the former Huddersfield coach. Huddersfield, of course, in action in the Challenge Cup final after this game. You can see that on BBC One against Wigan. And this is the last of the set for the Centurions. Mellor with the kick. Trying to get over the top of the defence. Underneath it is Ferguson. He stepped out of the defence. Can he get that ball across and down? The ball pops up. Leigh keeping it alive beautifully, but Featherstone now gang tackling him into touch.
That's great scramble defence. Real quality defence there, because Ferguson's initial skill was tremendous in reeling the ball in, and you really you could see that he sensed he fancied his opportunity there. He's beaten Corell to that, but that's outstanding from Riley Jacks, a half-back on one so big. Absolute quality, and then from that offload, they tidied it up and put him over the side.
So Featherstone with the ball, great defence coming in from Rovers on so many levels there, just to make sure that Leigh couldn't get their noses in front again. It is all square, and it's probably a fair reflection of what we've seen in this first 40 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as the half-time hooter is blown. And what a battle we've seen, John, in this first 45. Still too close to call which way this one's going.
Yeah, that's a great description, a battle. It really is. Both teams throwing absolutely everything at other, both defensively and offensively and with the kicking game. And both teams having the resilience and desire to repel that. An absolute fascinating first half and another great 40, I believe, to come in the second half.
We've seen well-worked tries, we've seen good defence, we've seen a little bit of indiscipline here and there, and it's all added to the overall spectacle of what we've seen. What, a couple of tries each side, but the goal kicks of Featherstone, it's been the goal kicking that's really made the difference. 2 tries from Leigh Centurions, Chris Inu and Ben Reynolds, and just that one for Featherstone from Craig Hall. But it's the boot of Craig Hall that has really levelled this one for Featherstone Rovers. All square then at half-time. Featherstone Rovers 12, Leigh Centurions 12. We'll be back then here on the BBC iPlayer, on the red button, and also on the BBC Sport website for the second half shortly. But before we go, just a reminder of what else is coming up across BBC Sports this weekend. Today at 4 o'clock we've got e-scooter, that's on the BBC iPlayer. Also today at 6:30 it's 5 Live Finals Score, that's on the red button. Tomorrow at 9:30 there's the Rowing World Cup from Belgrade on the red button as well. And at 3:15 tomorrow it's the Men's Under-17 European Championship 2022. The semi-final between France and Portugal, also on the red button as well. And then on the red button at 6:45 tomorrow, the Men's Under-17s European Championship 2022. The semi-final between Netherlands and Serbia. And of course, straight after the 1895 final, the Challenge Cup final will be live over on BBC One at 2 o'clock. So just to remind you then, here at half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the 1895 Cup, it's Featherstone Rovers 12, Leigh Centurions 12.
We knew it was going to be a close one, and it's proving that way as well, with 40 minutes of action still to come. I am over here with the Featherstone Rovers fans. They got the flags, they got the shirts, they got the beer. They are all ready to go. Let's say hello to Mark. Mark, what did you make of that first half?
Well, the weather's beautiful, the stadium's fantastic, and the game is living up to expectation.
Okay, Mark, let's see this cap you've got. Can you take it off and show it off to the camera there? Talk us through some of these badges you've got.
The badges I've collected over various years symbolises some of the things that we managed to win over the years.
Okay, we've got the Rovers one there as well. Mark, although you're very, very cute, we have someone slightly cuter than Mark. If you just go this way, we think we have... Right, you guys over here, move out of the way. We've got someone very important in the background. 1-year-old Bella Rose, everybody. Look at that. I was going to get a score prediction from Bella Rose, but you know what, Mark? I think I'll get it from you instead.
Yeah, well, I think hopefully we've got a bit left in the tank, and probably we'll get home by 26-18.
Fantastic. Let's hear it from Mark, the second cutest man in the ground, and Bella Rose, everybody.
Thanks, Rich. They start them supporting early in Featherstone, don't they? They very much do. The Rugby League World Cup is coming to these shores later this year. To celebrate the countdown to the tournament, we have all three magnificent trophies here with us today at Tottenham Hotspur. So don't miss your chance to attend the biggest, the best, and the most inclusive Rugby League World Cup in history, and play your part in showing off our amazing sport to a global audience. Adult tickets start from just £20.21 per ticket. Visit rlwc2021.com/tickets and secure your place today.
We can do with a World Cup that makes a real impact, both on and off the pitch, through real impact stories. This is an England international shaping the earth on its own turn. It's where Welshman's greatness living on through our sunny home. It's striving for your place against the odds. It's living and breathing the game after life-changing paths. It's team spirit, the same hands send aid to Tottenham. It's building a new route for the Salford races. It's kickstarting the fun with the squads on the time. And it's having the ability to shine. As we make a real impact in homes, in streets, in fields. Among the land this October, we'll be smashing the streets by hosting the biggest, best, and most inclusive Rugby League World Cup ever. This is Rugby League in your community, your street, your heart. Leaving a positive impact, inclusive impact, and proper impact to packed stadiums all across the land. And when you hear more of the crowd, get ready to experience the full force of the Rugby League World Cup. This is real impact.
Not much separates these two sides in the Betfred Championship. Nothing separates them in that first 40 minutes. Who will be the winners?
Will it be Featherstone Rovers? Or will it be Leigh Centurions? Returning to the field for the final 40 minutes, would you welcome back Featherstone Rovers? And returning for the second half, welcome back Leigh Centurions. Two sides in that first half. The scores going into the second half. The Sundecks, the 1895 Cup final.
Welcome back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the second half of the 2022-1895 Cup Final. It's finally poised. Featherstone Rovers 12, Leigh Centurions 12. Will it be Featherstone Rovers who managed to defend the trophy that they won at Wembley last year? Or will it be Leigh Centurions that they get their hands on it for the first time? If the next 40 minutes is anything to go by compared to what we saw in the first half, we are in for an absolute cracker again. So it's Leigh Centurions to kick off to get this second period underway with Christian and Inu. A short kick-off again, not come off this time for them, and Featherstone with that ball, John Keane.
Yeah, the penalty straight away from Liam Moore there. Deemed a high collision with, I think it's Riley Jacks, yeah, and Sam Stone. So, again, we spoke about penalties at half-time, and it may well play a pretty significant role in this as well.
We also spoke about discipline too, just the second half basically starting in the way that the first half did. I think Leigh gave away a penalty very, very early on in the first half to allow Featherstone upfield. It's settled, but you'd have thought they might have learned for the start of the second half. So the penalty given to Featherstone Rovers. The kick for touch from Craig Hall.
Be careful, mate. It's curless, but
Nicely finds touch. I think a gentleman in the crowd down below has knew about it as well as Bussey along the line to Ferris. Ferris for Rovers. Oh, lifted there in the tackle, but the referee doesn't flinch at all. Nothing untoward.
Yeah, I think they did a good job as a threesome there, the Leigh Centurions defenders, because although his legs were lifted, they did control him and they made sure he didn't go past the horizontal.
So Wildey at acting half. Here's Ferris. Nice little ball to Kopchak. Good work again from that Leigh defence. We've seen some great work from both sides in defence so far this afternoon. Here's Jacks. Jacks to Bussey. Bussey drives his way forward. Again.
Interestingly, Shannon, that Pape has returned to the field instead of Smith. So whether that's tactical or whether Smith's still feeling the after effects of that head injury, we know not.
When Pape came on in that first half, he really made a difference for Leigh, didn't he? Really did. So here we go again with Bussey. From acting half for Rovers, it goes to Jacks. Jacks along the line to Corella, keeping it moving. This is nice from Featherstone, very simple, very basic to Leilua. Leilua kicks, it comes off a foot of the Leigh defender. Featherstone regather, but the referee says that's a handover.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty disappointed, Featherstone there, because basically on a last tackle play it was just chain passing and a kick from the centre at the end, and no real challenge to the Leigh defensive psyche whatsoever, because it was so easy to tidy up.
So just as we've got a bit of a stoppage in play there, Jesse Lefeo just being looked at by the physio.
He's just going to be there.
You just see there, it's his own player that's caused a problem.
Yeah, and Luke Briscoe felt that as well with his right knee.
Aaron Smith hasn't returned for Leigh after the half-time period either. The same problem which forced him off in the first half.
Yeah.
He went off for an HIA and a shoulder issue in there as well. Hence Edwin Ipape back on the field for the Centurions.
Well, they certainly don't lose anything with that interchange. As you rightly indicated, Sharon, it was very significant with the 15 minutes he was on the field in the first half.
So Leigh play the ball, and it's out and away to Inu. Tries to kick his way through that tackle. The defence comes in. Oh, what on earth is Inu doing there? Play on, says the referee. Just threw the ball forward, and Featherstone are up with possession. Oh, great skill from Craig Hall. Hall trying to get around the outside of Ferguson. He can't manage it. His foot just flicks into touch as well. What a shame for Craig Hall. Great skill there shown by the winger. But what was Inu doing?
Yeah, no idea whatsoever. And I think he's still a little mystified himself. But it's dropped it. He's got to look after that ball. And Senna Lefea really did play. And Hall they did play the advantage. They rolled the dice, but Ferguson just managed to get him over the sideline. And because they played the advantage and had a go, it's now going to be Leigh's ball.
I think Inu probably felt a bit badly done by, thinking there was an and or a harm in there, but surely in that situation, like you were intimating, that was his responsibility to keep that possession safe.
Very much so. You know, don't play the victim, play the game. And you know, he was really just looking out for the referee to help him out.
So Leigh with the ball back again, of course. Hall been taken into touch, but good play from Rovers in the meantime for that. But Leigh, with that possession, trying to come away from their own line. You can't help but feel that Leigh have maybe been let off the hook slightly there after that great piece of skill from Craig Hall. Some big forwards going in for the Centurions. John Asiata.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, Sharon, won't it, as the game unfolds, as to who lasts the full 8 to the best of the two. And that certainly helped. Ipape again on a quick ruck. He took off and catches Senna Lefea offside. He really is very, very important to this Leigh team. He's in great form. See there, the markers aren't square, so the referee straight away awards the penalty, and I think they're going for the sideline.
Well, let's see if Ben Reynolds makes it this time. The last one he took, it didn't quite find it. He found the arms of Craig Hall instead. No danger there. Ends up in row D, I think, in the stand.
Yeah. Well, that shows the confidence of this Centurion side, doesn't it? Because that was certainly, for me, within kicking distance for Chris Nino.
So Leigh lining things up nicely. Ipape. There's Reynolds. Driving towards the line, goes long ball back to Mellor, who introduces Stone into the play. Stone, a straight run from him, brought down. The Leigh fans are singing. They're urging their own side over that line. Good ball from Leigh Centurions. Shomi Pape, is that a try? I think it's been dropped.
It's dropped the ball.
Dropped over the line from Ed Chamberlain. Chamberlain, who's found that whitewash numerous times this season, but not this afternoon, not yet anyway.
Yeah, I think it's Asiata, isn't it, who made the desperate attempt to ground the ball, but three Rovers defenders in there forced the error. And that's great defence. I mean, you've remarked upon it on a number of occasions, Sharon, but both teams really, when they're on their own line, they really are working very, very hard to maintain the limit on the tries conceded, because it's difficult to score. There's two good teams, but it's difficult to score, and that's how a final should be.
And I think apologies to Ed Chamberlain there as well for saying he didn't get that ball down. John Asiata, what a hit that was in defence as well, coming from Leigh. Still an inch not being given by either side. Jack Bussey for Rovers. Great defence again from Leigh. I think again Featherstone just appealing for one or two bits and pieces in the tackle. Nothing given by referee Liam Moore. Craig Hall brought down. Wildy, the middle of the field with Ferris.
Tell you, there's some good line speed here from the Centurions. This needs to be a good kick.
And it comes in from Morgan Smith on the last. back in field, taken safely by Inu. Looked like he was going to pass it. I think he realised maybe Aikens was slightly ahead of him, and Inu breaks forward. Inu almost in the clear. A bit of a slip just allows the defence to come in.
What a great kick return that was. And again, first play, and they're on in the 40 metres away from the Rovers line. They really have switched to gear up of Leigh in this second half.
Rolling down the field. Here's Asiata. The ball, oh, not the cleanest of passes. A bit of momentum just lost there from Leigh. Picked up by Chamberlain. Good drive back from the defence. Riley Jack's in there for Featherstone. And here's Mellor along the line. O'Donnell, big hits coming in. A penalty awarded. Sloppy maybe there, the tackle from Featherstone, but Leigh will welcome it.
They'll take the two this time, believe you me.
What are the lottery numbers, John?
I think they rolled the dice the other one because it was a much more difficult. This is, in golfing parlance, this is a gimme. It was a high tackle there. Brett Ferris once a game, but this is a gimme, isn't it? It's like a sort of 6 foot putt, so they'll be happy for Inu to just get the ball, slot it over, and then the noses are just slightly in front in this finishing straight.
I wouldn't be surprised as this game goes on if we get into drop goal territory, because try-scoring chances have been so few and far between. They're testing each other out all over the pitch. Nothing's really been given. It's the penalty goals that are things that are just the things that are separating these two sides. I think we're going to be into drop goal territory later. But the kick to come then from Inu.
1 minute, Chris.
And this will put Leigh back in front if he is successful. A straight kick for Krishnan Inu of Leigh Centurions. And there we go, Leigh are back in front by just the 2 points.
Well, they've been the best team in this second half, Sharon. They really have. They've dominated field position, and their only reward is that penalty. But at the minute, that is the difference between the sides. So interested to see whether Featherstone will go for distance and the more conservative play, or whether they'll do a Leigh on Leigh and go short.
I can't remember the last time I saw a game that felt quite as tight as this.
Yeah.
There are tight matches, but this is incredible as a kick downfield comes from Featherstone Rovers. Nicely, safely taken by Pape, and Leigh drive away from their own line. Good work coming in. John Davies on off the bench of Featherstone Rovers. He's a good player, John Davies. Had a great career at this level, hasn't he?
He inevitably makes a big contribution, does John. Whether they play him in the middle, a channel, or they play him as an edge player, there's always things happening around him. But this is a Pape again. Oh!
What a ball that would have been to O'Donnell, out of the back door from Pape. O'Donnell just couldn't take it, but he would have been in the clear potentially there.
He's a handful, Anytime there's a quick play of the ball, off he goes. And it was just a tad too high, hit him in the face, but there's the threat, no doubt about it. There's the threat from the Leigh Centurions around that ruck area.
Well, Pape had been in some great form leading up to this game, and he's not letting his side down this afternoon either. Really has notched things up a little bit for me, for Leigh, since he came on the field.
Yeah. But this is good field position from Featherstone, because they have been under the cosh, haven't they, this second half, and they need a player like Leilua. You know, he's a big name, he's got great experience at the highest level. They need one of the big name players to come up with a big play.
They certainly do, and there is time yet as well, of course. Not a lot between these two sides still as the ball goes to Bussey. Look to offload.
He's dropped the ball.
He has. And that man in there again, Pape.
Yeah. He's having a great game. He really is. Both with the ball and without the ball. See, there's a good player, is Bussey, but there's plenty of inside pressure there.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Papua New Guinean international Edwin Pape, who I'm told is having cooking lessons with Ben Nakabue, because when he came across from Papua New Guinea to Leigh, I think there was quite a few bits of technology and mod cons as such that he wasn't used to because of his background, and he's having to learn how to use them with Ben Nakabue, which you don't hear stories like that very often about players, do you? Let's be honest.
And a penalty there for offside, but he might not be able to cook, but he can certainly eat by the size of him, I'll tell you.
Yeah, a bit of muscle there.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to feed him for a fortnight.
Or a week, maybe.
Or a week, yes.
So Leigh then will get things started with a tap from McDonald in the middle of the pitch with Nakabue. There he goes, driving through. He takes 3 Featherstone Rovers defenders to stop him. Sene Lefeo just gets to his feet at marker for Rovers. As once again Asiata drives up the centre for Leigh. Ipape just feels something might be on here for the Centurions. O'Donnell looks, great offload from O'Donnell. Extra few yards gained for Leigh. Ball out to Mellor. Keeps it moving. Nice from Leigh. This is nice to Ferguson. Ferguson's in! And how crucial could that be for the Centurions?
Well, it's Aikens with the pass, isn't it? Absolute quality. But I also thought that there was some very clever play there by the pivot down the right side, Joe Mellor. He noticed the retreating defender was going to the short side, and that's why he called for the ball. And that created the extra number with Aikens sweeping round the back. And it's a great pass to that big man. And the former Australian international over. You see there, the retreater, it left them with just 4 men in the defensive line. Great execution there from Aikens, going over the top because they came up, they rushed them, but it was over Craig Hall. The skill's good enough, the catch is great, and the finish is even better. What a good try that is from Leigh. You just sense, Sharon, that would have been coming all half.
And appreciated by Adrian Lamb. Great skill from the winger. The one-handed carry and touchdown. And the tiptoe practically down the sideline. The whitewash was there threatening him. The defenders were coming in threatening him. Great skill from a player, Blake Ferguson. And with his quality, you would expect that.
You would, yes. I mean, he's an Australian international. So, you know, if you play for the green and golds, you can play this game. But I was really impressed there with, I thought Miller was very smart, and I thought Aikens' pass selection was excellent and well executed. And you've already waxed lyrical about the finish, and quite rightly so.
I think an eyebrow or two raised when he signed for Leigh Centurions, made his debut just last week, scoring 4 tries. That's 5 tries in just 2 games in Leigh colours for Blake Ferguson as Inu prepares to take the conversion. And this could just open up crucial daylight if this is successful for Leigh. And
missed it.
Pulled it.
Yeah.
First one he's missed.
So it stays a 1-score game, converted try. But this is a joy to watch, it really is. The smartness of Mellor going down that side, the beauty of the execution of Aikens, and then the quality of the finish there of the big fella on the wing.
So Featherstone to restart the game. And the kick comes downfield to start it, and Jonathan Ford is on off the bench for Featherstone Rovers. It's just his second game in Rovers colours. Like Mark Coralla, a former Toulouse player, but he could be crucial for Featherstone now, Ford.
Yeah, that's been an interesting rotation because it's Matty Wilde who's come off. Morgan Smith's gone into hooker, and Ford's obviously down that right-hand side. And again, Jonathan Ford's one of those players, things happen around him. He's so skillful. But Leigh at the minute looking very, very good indeed.
They are, and it's playing with pace as well, are the Centurions, hitting that defensive line hard. This is the last of the set for them again. Here's Reynolds, the kick goes over the top. Ford is under it, I think, there for Featherstone, taken safely by Rovers. And they'll
Briscoe,
come away from the
wasn't
line.
it, there,
Yeah. Big Ford out there with him, wasn't he?
Yeah,
just protecting
he was trying
Briscoe
to help
with
him,
the
yes.
kick.
Very, very true.
So Rovers with that ball. Interesting what you said about how Featherstone have reorganised themselves with Smith at hooker. I wondered if that would be how they would start this afternoon, with Wilde having the rib problem, but clearly Wilde has been fit enough to play, what, 50 minutes of
Yeah,
this game.
he's contributed really well, hasn't he? But in conditions like this and on an occasion like this, when there's emotional energy drain from you as well, you do need hooking interchanges, and that's what obviously Featherstone have done. Ford ball there.
Great ball, great timing from Ford. That's released Briscoe out on the far side. Back inside, oh, straight into the arms of Sam Stone. And Leigh come up with the possession. I think the pass might have been travelling forward anyway.
They really collected one off Blake Ferguson as well when in the process of passing the ball to Briscoe.
But great timing from Ford's pass to release things out on the right for Featherstone.
Well, the first of many, I think, because on his shoulders rests, I believe, Featherstone's hope now. If he comes on and has a storming 25 minutes, they've got a great chance. If Leigh managed to quell him, it's going to be going over to Lancashire as this cup.
Nakabue brought down. Ipape. Middle of the field, Asiata. O'Donnell! The tackle's missed. Oh, well in from Featherstone Rovers. Great tackle coming in from Coralla right around the ankles. And here's Ipape, goes on the short side. Plenty of numbers on the short side as well, but it's switched with Akins, giving it a bit of more space. Reynolds, kick, looking for Ferguson again. Oh, collision, ball goes to ground, picked up by McDonald.
It's play on, yeah.
Play on. McDonald trying to push his way through and round Jonathan Ford. And he'll get play. Oh, he's been dragged over the try line by the Featherstone defenders. I think the referee had already shouted held at that point. And Leigh really pushing forward. Oh, almost an arm out there as well. And that could have been, again, another big moment in this game if that had happened.
Because it's been a set restart, hasn't it? So that's a zero tackle. So they really are under pressure.
Ipape,
oh, what a play!
Ipape goes through! What a try to cap off a great performance from the Papua New Guinean hooker. And that does give daylight for Leigh.
What a sidestep. This guy's got everything. That is absolute quality. I think it's all the sidestep to the Featherstone team and all the fans in the stadium as well. Real high quality skill there. And I'm looking forward to this replay, but it came about. There's the pressure on Briscoe, and it was rightly called play on, and McDonald didn't ask any questions. The set restart came, but look at this sidestep. Sensational. That is absolutely sensational. It's John Davies has come through, but he looks to his outside and props off that right foot. And hasn't he got some pace when he changed direction there? It was like an explosion of pace through the defensive line and over the whitewash. What a great try from a player who's having a great game.
And there we go. We talked about emotion from coaches a little earlier. I think that shows exactly what Chris Chester and Adrian Lamb thought of that one. And I think as well with Ipape, what a low centre of gravity and the balance that he showed as well with that step.
Yeah, it was a thing of beauty, Sharon. It was a thing of beauty.
Really was.
Yes.
And I bet that'll be watched a few times by Leigh fans later on this evening and appreciated for the beauty that it was. So he knew then with the conversion attempt. 3 from 4 from the winger. And the goal is successful.
Well, Leigh's second half performance, Sharon, has been absolutely first class. And it's been epitomised by this guy who's been on from half-time and has really turned the game. And that, as a ball carry, is superb. It really is. It shows strength, it shows power, it shows evasion, and it shows 6 points under the post. He really has been a game changer.
So Featherstone will start play once again.
And that's the 7th change for Featherstone with a quarter of the game left. So Coach Brian McDermott knows that they are under pressure and is trying to do everything in his power to change that.
And Junior Moores is the man that's back on the field for Featherstone Rovers as well. Really trying, I think. It just feels like they're trying to match the power now. They're getting the big men. There's a lot of big men already on the field, isn't there, for Featherstone Rovers? It seems a little bit silly to say that, but certainly making sure they've got some big men on there to try and combat what Leigh are throwing at them at the moment from all parts of the field. And it's Leigh on the attack once again.
They've been excellent, Leigh, this second. They've cut out the penalties. and they've looked after the ball, and it's really made a difference alongside these big forwards rolling Featherstone down the field.
On the last then for the Centurions, Reynolds with that kick. Corrala underneath it. Again, safe hands from the fullback. Almost manages to get around the defence that came in with the tackle, just couldn't quite keep his balance, but Featherstone in a safe position for early in the set. But work to do now for Rovers, trailing by 12 points with what, 20 minutes still to go. Not insurmountable for a side like Featherstone Rovers, of course, but Leigh now certainly in command.
Well, Leigh's defence has been good all day, Sharon. I mean, they've conceded one try. You know, the points have come from the boot of Craig Hall, apart from that try. So they really have defended well. Featherstone are finding it hard to progress downfield, and we just haven't seen them attacking the Leigh line really this half.
So let's see what they can do on the last of this set. The kick comes up from Jacks. Straight into the... Oh, Akins, bit of a juggle there. Hung on to it safely in the end.
Well, I can't recall this half, Sharon, an error by Leigh in their own half. And that's been why they've dominated field position.
And we did see that in the first half, didn't
Yes,
we?
we
Chances
did.
bombed,
Yeah.
really. Oh, and there's an error as well from the play of the ball. The referee hasn't given anything for that one. I'm a little bit surprised. But Leigh still in possession. Ipape, short ball.
Ione, I believe, has entered the field of play. Another big man.
He is. Recently back in the side after injury, 7 weeks out. And this is the last of the set for Leigh Centurions. It's Ipape, middle of the field. Asiata goes back to Reynolds. Reynolds with the kick. Out there again is Inu. Oh, almost took it cleanly.
Chance
It's fallen
here.
into the arms of Leigh
Chance here.
Leigh fancies his chances on his own. Puts the grubber kick in for Briscoe. Briscoe collects it.
Oh, no!
Again goes to ground. Picked up by Leigh, and play comes back towards the other end of the field.
That's a lack of composure. That's the first time really they were going to be in the Leigh half, and just a lack of composure by Briscoe.
And Leigh were there, I think. Yeah, just a pat on the back from Briscoe.
Well, it was a great kick there, very inventive, but here it's just such a low percentage play. Take the tackle, play it quick, and build that momentum. And then they just, you know, it's a bit of fatigue there from Wardle and a knock on. But that was the first time you really felt that this half that Featherstone had an opportunity to post some points.
Well, Featherstone back with ball in hand with Jonathan Ford. I just wonder on that last play with that break coming from Leigh if Briscoe had taken the tackle and had gone for the quick play of the ball but been smart and simple and maybe then got a penalty off the back of it, how successful that could have been.
It could. You call it smart and simple. Yeah, it's a simple game, but you have to be very smart within that. And Featherstone have been here. There's a chance
and
here.
Here's the break, and it's Corrala going forward for Featherstone Rovers. He's looking for support. Long ball out wide. Finds Briscoe. Briscoe goes for the corner. The defence comes in. He tries to keep it alive. The ball goes to ground, and the referee says it's gone forward and been knocked on.
Magnificent scramble defence from Leigh that time. It was Corrala, who I think has been Featherstone's best player this today. He made the break. Through he goes. It looks as if he's half getting through. Great pass to Briscoe, and then it's McDonald who's in scramble mode, and he tries to keep the ball in field, but it's just knocked on by Sene Lefeo.
So the scrum quite close to that Leigh line, so work to be done to get back upfield. But from what we've seen from Leigh in this second half, they've really had the roll on. The momentum has carried them forward beautifully, led by Edwin Ipape, we've got to say, really.
Yeah, Featherstone need to force an error here in the Leigh half. They really do. They need some line speed, some tough, aggressive collisions, and to put a bit of pressure on the ball carrier of the Centurions.
Work done there by Blake Ferguson. As Leigh again try to drive their way through. Ipape. Inu in off the wing.
they're just a big team, aren't they? You know, right the way across the board. There's only the sort of halfbacks who you wouldn't say are real big men.
I think it's like what we were saying at the start of play, and the referee not happy there at all.
Well done, referee.
Yeah,
well done.
10 for dissent.
Well done. Just play the game. And I don't think Adrian Lamb is very happy at all with Christian Inou's contribution there. And what a kick that is.
Oh, beautiful kick.
What a
straight
kick
to
that
the
is.
corner.
This is a chance, Sharon. This is a chance.
You took the words out of my mouth there, John. Let's see what Featherstone can do. It's their best position, it feels, in the second half as far as territory is concerned. Let's see what the Rovers can conjure up with this. The ball goes out to Ford. Ford has Lockwood. Takes that ball into that defensive line. Out and away to Jacks. Keeps it moving to Bussey. Steady play from Featherstone. Trying to get through the set without any errors. Keeping it basic. The ball moved. Again, up the centre of the field. It looked like a pass may have got out there. Just wanted to play as a movement of it, but no, the pass goes in. The ball goes in, I should say, in the tackle. But Featherstone still putting pressure on that line of Leigh. Again, the defence just comes in and closes from the dart from acting halfback from John Davis. Davis, I think, looking for the penalty. Nothing given. The ball goes out, stretched well and taken well there. It's with Hall. Hall steps in off his wing.
Last tackle now.
And
what have they got up the sleeves now?
They need something big, I think, here. Featherstone, the kick from Riley Jacks. The ball goes into space. This will be picked up, though, by Leigh Centurions eventually. Not particularly cleanly, but mopped up safely. And Featherstone there just really struggled to find any way of prizing open that Leigh defensive line.
There are some tired players, though, now on both teams, you know, and there's an error. This is just what Featherstone have wanted. A bit of a period of time where they're building some pressure, but if they're building some pressure at some stage, they've got to come away with some points as well.
So another chance for Rovers to try and close this 12-point gap. They trail by 24 points to 12. We've got around about 13 minutes remaining if they are going to get themselves back in and try and retain the trophy that they won at Wembley last July.
There's a play coming up here. We've got two Featherstone players stood behind the scrum. They're both going big side now.
And there's Coralla. Coralla with the ball to Ford. Ford to Briscoe. Can Briscoe get around the defence? Now again, throws it back inside. Mopped up by Leigh.
Great defence.
And that could be another crucial moment of this match.
Well, Nene McDonald's built a reputation as a great attacking player. Today he's shown his worth as a great defensive player. He's come up with two very, very important tackles down that left-hand side for Leigh, and that was absolutely crucial on play number one as well.
Every time Luke Briscoe has appeared to potentially have a bit of space out wide, he and Inou together have done a bit of a job there. So a Moan now at the middle of the field. Good strength as well there for the Leigh forward. The referee's arm is in the air. This is the last. Reynolds again with that kick up high. It's been successful for him this afternoon.
Well, it's obviously been a pre-planned tactic because they've stuck with it, haven't they? I'm just wondering if there's a possibility at some stage within the next few minutes of Leigh going for a one-pointer, because that would make it 3 scores then, and I think that would be the game.
But Rovers with the ball at the moment, meaning that won't be on at least for another few minutes. Hall trying to find a way through, no way through there. Too many red and white shirts, too many big men in red and white shirts as well, I think, for Leigh Centurions. Lockwood pings the ball back inside. No way through though for Featherstone. And the ball loose, a penalty given.
Yeah. A ball still there. Well, don't invite Featherstone back in. If you're a Leigh fan, they'll be saying don't invite them in, and that's what they've done with that penalty once again. For the first 25 minutes or so of this half, they played a perfect game. They've now just shown 1 or 2 errors creeping in, a penalty creeping in. It's just allowing the blue and whites of Featherstone Rovers to get some field position.
Well, Featherstone have made their final substitution of the game. Matty Wildy coming back onto the field. You can see him there at acting half. And it's now Lockwood trying to find a way through. Yeah, Featherstone certainly this last, 10 minutes or so have certainly had a bit more territory in the Leigh half of the field, just not really had any success with it. Let's see if they can manage it this time. Here's Coralla. Plays the ball to Wildy. Mose. Oh, Jax just stretches back to take it, but does. Good ball, good offload to Wildy. Bussey, back to Mose. Hall calls for it, Hall gets it! And Featherstone get in at the corner.
Well, that's great off the cuff rugby, isn't it, there? They did need something because they were being invited into the game. They've accepted the invitation and they've crossed wide out from Craig Hall, who scored all of Featherstone's points up to now, and he's got the responsibility of attempting to convert it. And it's lovely play, isn't it? Riley Jackson's really well there with the offload. Then Wildy comes up, another offload, then a great, very composed pass over the top to Craig Hall. That's some real good play from Featherstone Rovers there. Started with Jacks. They know they've got to come up with something different, and it's the offloads that's created the opportunity for Hall. But this kick, Sharon, is a big, big kick.
It absolutely is. 16 points he scored in last year's final. If he kicks this, just pulls it wide. So still a tally of 16 points for Craig Hall.
But there's still 2 scores down.
Yeah.
And that was why it was so important. He kicks that, it's a try and a goal away. But this is really excellent rugby league. It's a pleasure to watch. And the end result's pretty good as well, if you're a Featherstone fan.
Good player, Craig Hall. Certainly knows how to score tries, but still, that try, as you say, it's still 2 scores away, but that will have just boosted Featherstone. That will have just given them a little bit of chink of daylight to try and chase. So Leigh to get started again. Keep your eye on the clock on this one now. We are inside the last 10 minutes of this game. 8 points between them. At the moment, the trophy will be going back to Leigh, but Featherstone, having just got that try from Craig Hall, will certainly have something to say about it, I think, before the final whistle. As the kickoff is taken by Bussey, it hung for a long time, did that. Bussey takes it safely.
Good play the ball though. Pretty good tackle as well there.
The halfbacks for Featherstone this afternoon, they've both taken some big hits as this afternoon's gone on, has it? But both with the kickoffs and taking the ball forward as well. I know that wasn't one of the halfbacks, it was Ben Halliwell, but just how hard he was it just feels that the halfbacks have taken a bit of stick, I think, this afternoon for Rovers.
Well, you can expect a bit of hot potato rugby league now because they've just got to do something different.
And this is the last, and they're still inside their own 40 of Featherstone as well. Wildy across to Ford. Goes for space. That splits the hooker and the winger. But it'll be Inu that takes it safely. Gives it to Akins in the middle of the field. He's got Ferguson behind him, just pointing, urging him forward. And now it's Ferguson himself with the possession.
And that's the way he's gone.
He runs like a forward, doesn't he? Here we go again. Ipape in the middle of the field. Almost toying with the Featherstone defence there. Nothing too much though really to trouble Rovers. The tackles led by Bussey. Ioane again for Leigh. Ipape takes his place at acting half. Here's McDonald now. Met by Wildy. And Leigh edging their way up the field.
Yeah, they've just calmed the stormy waters, haven't they? Just sort of got back in control with this. It's been a conservative set, but what they've done is just settled everything down and going to play for the last tackle play, which I'm sure Reynolds will roll over the side.
And there he goes. Again, I'm getting the lottery numbers off you by the end of this. It's sensible play though, isn't it? It's game management at this stage of a match.
It is, very much so. They've been really good, have Leigh, today. I think Featherstone obviously have challenged them, but the second half has really been Leigh's, and they'll take great confidence for the rest of the season from this, and Featherstone will know the challenge is there. They won the round 2 championship fixture against Leigh, but this is a different Leigh team playing with a different level of confidence.
Yeah, in the championship table, Featherstone atop with Leigh in second. And as you say, Featherstone won the first match. They meet again in the league in just over a couple of weeks' time, so that will be an interesting encounter in the championship as well. But still playing this cup final this afternoon, still going on. Still things to be settled. Out towards the left finds Helliwell, who's brought to ground. Bussey from acting half up the middle of the field to the captain Lockwood.
Lovely pass.
Great ball there to Corella. Corella can't keep hold of it though. And Corella, with space in front of him, just couldn't quite make sure of that possession.
I think that's the game, Sharon. I really do. It was a great pass from Lockwood out the back there to Corella in space, but he's just come up with the header, and I just think that's the game. It's a great effort there from Sidlow, one of the middlemen, coming across in scramble mode, in cover mode, and it forced the header. And I think he knows that they'd have scored then, we really would have had a very, very interesting last five. But this will be a really conservative set from Leigh again. And again, they'll be putting it, I believe, over the sideline just to run that clock down.
It does feel that at the moment when Leigh are getting that ball for their sets, as we see a bit of a knock, when a slight stoppage in play, as if somebody's, I say a slight knock.
Yes.
It just feels that somebody's releasing a pressure tap when Leigh are in possession at the moment, just bringing things down a level, and as you say, trying to play conservatively, as we see the tackle coming in on Blake Ferguson, and that, I will respectfully suggest, could be game management.
Yeah, well, he's claiming it's a crusher, isn't it, from Jack Bussey. So it'll be interesting to see whether the referee puts that on report. And that's what he's going to do. Calling the captains in. So that will be looked at by the match review panel.
And if it is, and there's anything to come from it, as I say, thing on report there, the incident on report. If anything comes from that, it will be interesting to see what, with these two meeting again in the next couple of weeks in the championship, it could be some potential issues somewhere. So I'm sure that'll be the last thing that Brian McDermott will need. But Leigh with the ball. Just 4 minutes to go. Amon drives forward. Ipape takes his place at acting half. The referee just making sure Featherstone are back on side.
I don't think they're looking for quick play the balls now, do you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Here goes Sidlow. Takes it into that defensive line.
And here comes the sideline.
Yeah, there's numbers on the short side. There's Mellor. Tries to drive it through, comes off the feet of Riley Jacks.
Back to one, yes, he's played at it.
Collected by Reynolds, who shows a bit of a dummy before attacking that line. Lockwood goes in there with the tackle. And Reynolds will be slow to get up there. I think he took a bit of a knock, actually, from the defence as he went down. And the physio straight on to have a look at him.
Yeah, there was an element of a collision there between Lockwood and Reynolds. And rightly, the physios are just checking that everything's A-OK. But this, the Leigh end now, which has really filled up, hasn't it? They're enjoying themselves. They've started partying already. And you can't really blame them.
Yeah, certainly celebration starting in that side of the stadium. In the other side of the stadium where the Featherstone fans are, they're still on their feet, clapping and chanting as well. Support from both sides this afternoon has been absolutely superb. A good following from both clubs, and of course Yorkshire, Lancashire in the way that it is for the Challenge Cup final as well. I would imagine any Huddersfield fans in early have been cheering for Featherstone, and likewise Wigan for Leigh as this play gets going again with Amon. He's brought down, but pressure coming potentially again here from the Centurions. Ipape to Asiata, finds Sidlow, comes in on the angle. Ipape again takes the ball, pass back to Mellor, little ball to Stone, tries to shrug his way through, he can't, and plays the ball again to Ipape. Again, back to Asiata. Oh, great hit, almost coming in there from John Davis, but Asiata still on his feet. This will be the last for the Centurions. Ipape once again takes it on the short side, back to Mellor. Mellor stutters his way through. Was he obstructed there as he put that kick in afterwards? And that could be a try. A bit of hesitation from the Featherstone defence,
yep.
And it is, and that is the icing on the cake for the Centurions.
Well, Mark Carella there, he was trying to virtually will the ball over the dead ball line so that they had 7 tackles starting on the 20. But it just held up from Joe Miller's kick, and I'm sure Joe Miller, all he wanted to do was get a repeat set. But he's come up with, he's come up with the game. Sam Stone followed the kick, grounded it, and that's it. You see there, he's happy. He's just trying to get a repeat set. Carella's willing it over, and Sam Stone never gave up. He never gave up, followed it through, and the reward for never giving up is the final 4-pointer of this afternoon. But did he touch it down? Yes, he did.
And just in the field of play as well.
Yes, he did. So, well done, Liam Moore, the referee.
I think Carella thought he had all the time in the world there as well, and clearly not. Clearly not. Well,
it's a shame because, as I said earlier, I think he's been Featherstone's best player. I think he's been excellent. So, but sometimes you have to take a gamble, and it didn't come off. And now this is the conversion, and the game's gone, and it's Leigh who'll be celebrating.
So let's see if Inu can just stretch that lead a little further in the dying seconds of this game. And he can. The extra 2 are added. 30 points to 16, perhaps not quite the reflection of the scoreline to the game that we've seen, but certainly with the second half dominance we've really seen from Leigh.
Yeah, they've been brilliant in the second half, and I agree with you. I think it's a little harsh on Featherstone's effort, but that's typified Leigh's performance, where they've just given everything and haven't given up. I think this has been brewing from round 2 when Featherstone beat them at Post Office Road, and they really have. They've wreaked their revenge, and they've got the 1895 Cup to take home with them.
So into the final minute of the game, and it's Leigh with that possession. Mark Carella just limping in back play as Leigh come forward once again. We've probably just mentioned the man of the match at this point, being given, as you may imagine, to the Leigh Centurions number 21, Edwin Ipape, who's been absolutely superb for Leigh, John.
Yeah, well, he's been the game changer. He's been on all the second half, and it's no surprise that the second half has been the dominant time for Leigh, and a well-deserved winner of the Ray French man of the match.
So the hooter goes, and it's Leigh Centurions who will take home the 1895 Cup for the first time. A comprehensive second half performance, meaning it's red and white ribbons on the first trophy of the afternoon.
And what a good game. What a good game that was. Absolutely outstanding. A great advert, as you've mentioned before, Shannon, for Championship Rugby League. But it was befitting a real high-quality final. There were errors, there were penalties, but it just added to the drama of it. But credit to Leigh. I thought Leigh in the second half were absolutely magnificent. Featherstone will take loads from this. You know, they know full well they can challenge them. They know full well the biggest game for promotion is down the road, should these two get there. But for this afternoon, Leigh should enjoy the win and enjoy the fact that they are the AB Sundecks 1895 Cup winners.
And they're beating Featherstone by 30 points to 16. A comprehensive scoreline for them in the end. But as we've mentioned, John, maybe not quite the reflection of the tight game that we've seen.
No, I don't. I think the last scores put a bit of a slant on the scoreline, you know, that Sam Stone scored, but it was a try, you know, so the scoreline is as it is, but I don't think the scoreline necessarily reflects the comparative performances of the two. But they're thoroughly enjoying that, and rightly so. That's what you get to finals, to win them and to enjoy them.
Derek Beaumont, the man dancing in front of Adrian Lamb there, the Leigh owner. Featherstone Rovers, of course, the winners of this competition last year. They know how good it feels to win. Unfortunately for them this year, as they go across to applaud their own fans, they unfortunately will find out what it's like to lose this final this year. But my goodness, it sets up a championship encounter in a few weeks' time, does this. But Leigh Centurions, a deserved win for them this afternoon. And we see the man of the match there, Edwin Ipape. And if ever anybody deserved an award this afternoon, it's that man.
Well, man of the match, Ray French man of the match award winner, it should go to someone who's altered the course of the game. And that's exactly what that man did. He was first class, he was. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be in such surroundings for a high quality game. And what a curtain raiser.
Well, we're getting ready and preparing then for the medals to be awarded, and also the trophy presentation as well. The VIPs are out on the pitch ready as the Leigh Centurions players gather there in that huddle. And it could be that these two teams meet another 3 times this season. They've got another championship match in a couple of weeks. They meet again later in the season in the Summer Bash. And of course, many expect these two sides to be the teams in the £1 million game at the end of the season, although as we mentioned earlier, I'm sure there will be another couple of championship sides that just might have something to say about that as the season unfolds. But some great quality on display this afternoon from both of these squads, John.
Yeah, they've contributed greatly to a great spectacle. This competition is growing year upon year. You know, it's a relatively new competition, and it's just getting better year upon year and becoming more and more established within the rugby league calendar. And quite rightly, the league guys are enjoying it, and they are, as a team, they are evolving. They are much better at this point in time than they were at the start of the season. So if they keep evolving, they're going to be some team towards the end of the season, believe you me.
So the celebrations continue. You can see there the Leigh owner, Derek Beaumont, embracing his players as Mark Coralla is just helped off the field. That injury picked up quite late in that game because, as you were saying, John, he was influential for Rovers. It
was very good. It really was. And I know he made an error at the very end, but it was understandable because he wanted the top 20 in the 7 tackle set. So he's contributed greatly, and he also has added to the Featherstone Rovers' development as a team as well. And it just sets up the rest of the championship season great. But at the minute, for those players out there, not the Rovers players so much, but the Leeds players, you've just got to enjoy it. When you win something, you've really got to relish it, and that's where the memories are made.
So the first presentation at the end of this 1895 Cup final is about to be made in front of us. It is the Ray French Man of the Match Award. The VIPs are out there. Alf Rimmer, CEO of the RFL, Mike Smith, the Rugby League Vice President, and Laura Beaumont from the sponsors. So it'll be the Ray French Award. That's the first one to be presented. Laura Beaumont steps forward and just embraces Edwin Ipape as he's presented with the memento for the Man of the Match, a much deserved Man of the Match award as well, coming for the Papua New Guinean. He came on with the injury in the first half to Aaron Smith, but my goodness, he made such a difference. And here come the officials, led by the referee Liam Moore.
Yeah, they've contributed, haven't they, to this really good spectacle that we've enjoyed this afternoon on this spectacular stage that is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it's just been a great start to the day. It really has.
Yeah, don't forget, coming up straight after us on BBC One from 2 o'clock, it is the Challenge Cup final. Huddersfield Giants against Wigan Warriors. Kick-off is at 3, but join us on BBC One from 2 for all the build-up to that match, the great showpiece it is, the Challenge Cup final, as we see Featherstone Rovers taking their runners-up medals, presented by Mike Smith, the Rugby League Vice President. And you can see almost the excitement brewing, can't you, of the Leigh players just standing a little bit away in the background, a little bit of little bit of twitchiness going on, still
Yeah.
embraces going on. Craig Hall there, the man who scored all the points this afternoon for Featherstone Rovers, equalling his own record of points in a final for the 1895 Cup of 16.
Well, they're certainly going to enjoy this, but I'm going to look to the right as well, Sharon, because I'll tell you, those fans, there's something brewing there as well. They're going to enjoy when this trophy is lifted, believe you me.
And here we go for the winners' medals. John Asiata leading for Leigh Centurions towards the point of that trophy presentation, and the Leigh fans on their feet applauding. And gradually we see the players coming through. There we go. It's great to see the cup final, the ribbons in their hairs, and the old-fashioned rosettes as well on one or two of the shirts as well. It's lovely to see.
It's lovely to see young people enjoying themselves, isn't it, on such an occasion as this, and fully deserved to those players. They've played really well. They got better as the game went on, and they finished really well. Calabakin's there, who I thought had a superb game.
Yeah, defensively and in attack,
Yeah.
Mick Akins, didn't he? Did very well this afternoon as well.
Sure, we'll see him in the World Cup later on.
But you've got one eye on him, haven't you, for Wales? So eventually Leigh gradually start to file through, getting their winners' medals from Laura Beaumont, from the sponsors, of course, wife of Derek Beaumont, the owner of Leigh Centurions. So she'll know one of the two of these players pretty well, you would imagine, because of that. Joe Walden now getting the medal around his neck. Ben Reynolds, the Pontefract lad.
He had a good game, didn't he? His try and his kicking game was very, very clever also.
Kristen Inu with a small smile and a thumbs up as well. And there's Joe Mellor and Adam Sidlow. Joint captains. I think Adam Sidlow pulled rank and was able to lead the side out. So it'll be interesting to see which one will be lifting the trophy at the end, as Adrian Lamb comes forward as Leigh Centurions coach to get his memento of this afternoon as well. Quite a magnificent looking cup as well, the AV Sundecks trophy, 1895 Cup, taken by both of the captains, Mellor and Sidlow, across to their team. And Leigh Centurions raise the trophy. They are the winners in 2022 of the 1895 Cup. And no doubt the celebrations will continue here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Don't forget, coming up this afternoon on BBC One very shortly, you can join us for the Challenge Cup final. It's Wigan Warriors against the Huddersfield Giants. But for this one, the 1895 Cup final at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we hope you've enjoyed our coverage on the BBC iPlayer, Sport website and app as well. But from myself and John Keir, have a very good afternoon and enjoy what's still to come on BBC One.